Now then, and welcome back to another episode of Quantus on the FTOG server. Welcome back, Boss Nemsun here, in the factory, chilling out behind my desk, all that kind of stuff. I've done a few things since last episode, nothing major though, nothing major. Don't you worry. I don't have any staff yet, that's the thing, and I still jump off onto my table. Let's go and have a look, see what I've been doing. Today I want to get on with some immersive engineering power generation. Now I've been messing around with different types of power generation. I've been doing all sorts of stuff. I've also been trying to use a builder in another dimension and blah 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 blah. I tried to do a little bit of quarrying earlier, and because my builder was in the other dimension, it didn't work. So I had to. What happened? Right, I came along and I'd do that. Okay, so select the first corner is selected. Select mode is active. Yes, and this was my mistake. I then took the ender chest, the builder, and the power supply over to the mining age. Set this up, ready, thinking that's all I need. Then tried to set the clearing card onto the quarry, and it kept telling me that it was in a different dimension because the clear area selected mode, or the selected area mode, was on there, and I couldn't take it off without bringing it all the way back over here. So I ended up just mining the stuff that I needed by hand and then coming back over here from the mining dimension. But now I've figured out what I've done wrong. I had pre-selected the quarry card in this dimension for this quarry right here, and I need to actually make sure it's clear and then take it to the mining age myself. But anyway, what are we doing today? Okay, so I've been experimenting with different power supplies. Now, we've got some immersive engineering windmills and water mills lurking around the base so far. I've been playing around a little bit with some of the extra utilities power gen just to see what's going on. With those. And they're quite funky. Some of them are quite difficult to work though. Like the death generator. When that happens, you actually... if you're in range of it, you die. You die. You generate it off bones and bits and pieces, but if you get too close, death appears and kills you. I tested it out in a single player as well, and death comes and kills you even in creative mode. It'll creative mode kill you. The magmatic generator, yeah, the TNT generator, the explosive generator, you put TNT in it and it physically explodes. An explosion around. It doesn't blow up all the blocks around it or anything like that. It doesn't harm anything. But if you get into the blast radius, you take the blast damage. So things in radius get blast damage, which is weird. The overclock generator just goes super, super fast. But that's not really... They're single block. They're single blocks. I can just stick them in a wall and can generate power. Automate them a little bit and all that, which I will do in the future, but not right now. For starters, they are just kind of like setting up a power supply, using some of these power cells from RF Tools and linking them all on the same ID. I get the power linked between them. So on some of these like water wheels up here, yeah, this water wheel up here is linked to the same setup, and those few furnaces down there, those generators are linked up. It's linked up there so that this power supply from these comes down and goes into that power supply. So at the minute, it's all of my powers linked to the same power supply. And then this is the only one that's actually outputting anything at the minute. But it's carrying, what's that, 3 million? Something like that, 3.5 million RF and keeping stocked up. And I'm hiding behind a wall. What am I doing here though, right? I want the look of immersive engineering power supply, okay? So I could be doing other things. I could just have an Enderman farm, Ender pearls, anything like that, and just have tons and tons and tons and tons of Ender power, powering one of these power cells that then just does tons and tons. Yeah, I could do it a cheaty way. Well, not cheaty way, but an easy way. But what I want is I want the factory to look really cool, and I want to use immersive engineering because I've not played immersive engineering before. I could wait another era and wait for the big solar panels from Environmental Tech, but that was too much like I did in Avant 3. This season I want to do immersive engineering in this factory. So first thing is first with diesel generator from immersive engineering. The first thing it wants me to do is generate fermenter and squeezer. And we're going to have to squeeze... Is that even broken? Has that even broken anything? These aren't even growing very well. They probably need a light source. Probably need a better light source. Let's just put a block down for now. Let's turn this into a block of that. There we go. Let's see if that works. They need quite a high light source to grow, apparently. Right? There's zero growth in any of those. And that one's only grown because I had set it up and used bone meal to test out the things. There we go. That'll do. Alright, so what we've got here are actually additions auto breakers. It's a breaker. It automatically breaks anything that's in front of it. So it's very similar to like a piston farm for sugarcane. It's a piston farm for this dirty hemp thing, industrial hemp. And as it grows, it will then get broken off at the next level. Do I have any? No, I don't have any. Do I have any? Is that the question? Is that the only question I've got on my mind? Do I have any? Do I have any of that? Do I have any of that? Let's show you. Right, so grows up, it breaks, it goes into here. Okay, this industrial hemp, the uses of it, we put it through an industrial squeezer and it makes plant oil. Okay, that is the first part of making the diesel. Right. Then we take something that is sugarcane or other things. There are other options as well. Let's put a sugarcane on there. It breaks it. It takes it. Yes. Uses of sugarcane in an industrial fermenter. Makes ethanol. And the ethanol and the oil mixed together, I think that's what makes diesel. Okay. So there's other ways of making ethanol. Apples, for instance, and possibly pumpkins and stuff like that, biomatter. But I figured as I'm going to be doing the breaking of this hemp stuff, I may as well install it all in the same farm, right? So I've been experimenting with these block breakers from Actually Additions, and they're quite cool. The block breaker itself only does the block in front of it, but then there is an extreme version, which is the long range breaker, okay? And the long range breaker will break 8 blocks distance between it and another block. So this block here, it won't quite do, right? But if I put the block there, no, if I put the block there, it will break it, okay? It will break all of the blocks on the way there, including, of course, the vegetation, which it's supposed to do. Yeah, that's what it's meant to do. And, of course, it'll do the sugarcane. So it'll break all 8 blocks space between it. But this one uses power and costs 3 of those. But I either have 8 across here and no power use, or I have 1 of these using 3 of those, and I use power, which I'm going to be generating from the whole system as well. So all I've got to do now is just figure out a layout. I was originally setting this farm up as a 9x9, so that I have a water source in the centre and I could grow stuff all around it, and I'll have a farmer, which was set up over here. But the farmer does not farm these things, and we don't have farming station yet. So as we don't have farming station yet, I'm going to have to do things rather differently. So yeah, I've got a lot of crafting to do of those long block breakers, but I want to kind of make this section of the area breaking the blocks and then stack it as high as I can. So I want loads of them. I want absolutely loads of them. I want to make a load of these, and I want to make them very, very good and very, very now. Okay, so I'm going to get that done, and then we'll set up like the first section. Today's episode will probably be just creating the farm for these things, the first stage, in this kind of area. I don't want to go much further than this. Well, I'm not going to go much further than 8 blocks out, am I? Because I've got those things that do 8 blocks. And I was thinking about how or where to bring the produce, because obviously the produce ends up in the long range breaker. I think I'm going to have to put the breaker on this side of the blocks so that I can extract it from this side and then put it straight into the fermenters and the squeezers. Alright, so let me get crafting and I'll be back. Alrighty, so I've been testing it out a little bit. I've been trying to get it to work out and figuring out a few of the the more subtle details that I want to work on, because I haven't done this in creative and tested it out in creative mode and built 1,000 different farm types and seen what they're all like. I've basically gone with this idea of the long range breaker shooting across a row of 8, a row 8 long, and trying to figure out how to make it all fit in and powered and everything like that as well after. Now, one of the things I've spotted that is the industrial hemp seems to take an awful long time to grow. Like a really long time to grow. That's still on 0 growth, and that's been going for a while now. It's got light directly above it, like 2 blocks above it, so it's got one space above it and then a light source is right above that. Obviously that requires some. I've also gone out and I've got myself some worms to put some worms in to give a bone meal effect. But the bone meal effect doesn't seem to be happening. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. Right? Nothing at all. And then I've bone mealed these ones to see if just getting the mature base level will encourage growth a bit better. So what we can see in here is what I've got from bone meal in the first ones up. Just to grow it into mature first, to see how often it would grow again, as it were. Yeah. One thing I haven't checked here, though, is check to see if putting the light source above it would make any difference. Now that, well, something just happened then at least. Yes, we finally got something. Yeah, we did. Okay. So something happened and it was over here, so it wasn't necessarily that light source. Let's just put another couple of light sources in. Maybe, just maybe that had something to do with it. Doubtful though. I've still got to do something for the floor above. So having the glowstone level underneath the farmland level for the next level to be stacked on top of that one. That's still okay. It's still deemed appropriate. But whether or not they actually will grow very consistently. Maybe that's why I need the 4 lines here. Well, it's growing, yeah. 4 lines here, as opposed to the sugarcane, which grows fairly quickly. And I don't need so many of. See, those 2, yeah, they're running smoothly right now. I'm not sure, but I think the hemp is going to take longer to grow, so therefore I'm going to need to do more of the hemp, right? Now, how am I powering it? Well, I've got the power cell that's linked up to everything else, and that's bringing the power over from everywhere else, okay? And then I'm using this extra utilities 2 wireless battery. The wireless battery says its stored energy is 3,200, and that's it in total. Done. And then these wireless transmitters, they can be placed somewhere around blocks. Let me show you this. You make 4 at a time. Max transfer 80 RF per tick. Range plus or minus 4 blocks, and it uses 4 GP up. So if we take a look here, we've got this one here with 1, 2, 3 blocks, and it's saying that it's currently got 6 tiles it's doing, because it's also powering this power cell over here. So it's doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. If I put another one here, it will be saying 7 blocks, and it will still do these 4, all 4 here, plus those 3, 7 blocks. If I put another one there, then it should be 8 blocks, and that is the maximum it can do on the horizontal. But I do believe, well, let me just test that, show you. Let me show you that, right? So this should now be 7 blocks, yeah? 7 tiles, yeah, 7 tiles. And then, of course, this one here will still make it 7 tiles because it doesn't go 5 blocks, it only goes 4 blocks, right? But on that same token, if we go 1, 2, 3 blocks up, and then it goes up as well now, starts going up to 8 blocks. So I can have one of these wireless transmitters transmitting to all the farms, drawing from that. And the problem now is I'm not sure if that is from this battery, and this battery can be anywhere, like it's wirelessly anywhere. Let's just put it down there for now. Okay, so it is currently containing nothing. Let's change this to out. Now this is containing something. Okay, now if we go over here and stick this on the side, is it still providing? It seems to still be providing. Seems to be still providing. Everything's full, yeah. So it might be that they don't need anywhere to be. I can put this anywhere. Let's take it out of there. Let's change that back to in on all sides. It wasn't actually in on all sides, it was out on this side, but yeah, I'll have to mess about with it. Let's see now, does it do it? It still says it's serving 7 tiles. But I've got the wireless battery in my inventory. So how's that happening? If I put this up here and it's got nothing in it, is this still working? Maybe. If I... Yeah, they still contain power. Let's make another one quick. Because I'm going to need a few anyway, so let's make another one. Right, so we're going to need 1, 2, 3 of those, and 1 of those. There we go, that's a fresh one. Okay, this one doesn't have any power whatsoever in it. Okay, so now that should be linked to it, yes, but not transferring any power. Okay, so if this is miles away, let's put it here. Is this an in or an out? This is an out from all sides, I should think. Let's put it in there. Is that receiving? No, it's not. Okay, let's change that side there. I was expecting that to be an out. Okay, now it's got power. Okay, now it's got power. Is this powering that? It just did. Yes, it just did. So that can be anywhere, so I don't need the switch as such. What I'm thinking though is that I want to be able to turn the power off, right? So I want to be able to break up the power. And one of these power cells can basically be set to none. So it refuses to go anywhere. And therefore it would not supply the wireless RF that it needed in there. Okay, so I am going to dump this over here. Well, I want to keep this power cell on my person actually, so I'll dump this one over here for now, and this can have an output over here. Let me change that again to output, put that here, and then that will keep all the wireless ones working. But as I've got a range around this of 4 blocks in all directions, then I can take this up 3 or 4 blocks and collectively do many of the farms and power many of the farms all at once. I've just got to think of my layout now. I think 3 is the optimal for the size of this plot because of the worms. Although the worms don't seem to be doing anything. They don't seem to be doing anything. It is working. Maybe I should still keep the worms just in case. And maybe separate this so that the water's in between, and then I only have 1 water to contend with. And that potentially is then 4 plus this, then a water. Giving me a bit more leeway that way. 4, 5, yeah. Okay, I'm going to mess around with it some more and try and build a layer or 2. Well, a few hours later, and it's all looking good. We're at 1, 2, 3, 4 levels. 4 layers are now created, and to a decent standard. There's still a few that haven't grown up properly yet. I went in there and I bone mealed a load to get enough seeds in order to plant the next layers, and I did layer by layer by layer, and the majority of it's all grown up. I've only just finished building, which is why there's a couple, like that spot there, and then maybe another one inside there, maybe another one inside somewhere that isn't quite grown yet, but oh well, it'll grow. I've got a little chunk loader sitting at the back there as well. I rearranged it so that I've got water, and then 4 blocks away is tilled soil, and then that's also 3s so that I could use the worms in there. Not sure whether those worms are actually doing any good whatsoever. I may end up taking them out once I've got a little stockpile. But as you can see, it's all working. It's all working fine. We've got plenty of light in each of them as well, because we've got the whole ceiling of light. I don't know why I picked the brick one, to be honest. I don't know why I picked the brick. I just picked something. I picked brick as my type rather than just standard glowstone. And I'm happy with it all the way through so far. So I'm sticking with it. Right? I'm sticking with it. all the way through from here. I've got a nice little walk around area. This is supposed to be a brick wall, same as this brick wall up here. It's supposed to be a brick wall here as well, to cover all of this unsightly plain stone and stuff. And that gives me a nice little run around. I'm thinking of doing something with stairs around here. That's why I've got the stairs here. Even though I don't really need stairs, I could put a step up. But I'm going to do some kind of railing stairs going around here. And overall, I'm quite pleased with the overall design of it. This back end, the white clay, it isn't actually meant to be white clay. This is just my place setter, as it were. It was just a placeholder. I just needed a block that was going to be in the right place. But now I've done the whole lot in that place block. It doesn't look too bad. I quite like the overall look of it. Yeah. And how am I getting things around? Well, as you can see, I've got 3 output barrels, as it were, 3 output chests. And I've got nothing pulling from any of these, have I? These are just connected up via transfer pipes. I did originally set up a load of transfer nodes to suck transfer nodes out of each one, to empty them all out, and then I decided against that idea, actually. I thought, wait a minute, there's another way of doing this. So I set up some retrieval nodes. So I haven't set up the retrieval node for that one yet, but I'll do that for you now. Retrieval node with a filter to say what it wants to retrieve. Okay, so this one's for the hemp seeds, and this one is for the hemp fibre. Right, and it's very simple to set up. I think I've got one spare over here. Did I put it in here? Did I put it somewhere? Okay, let's go and make another one. Let's go and make another one quick. That one. Let's make one. It's just 2 transfer nodes, 2 ender pearls, and an emerald. I think it feels like it used to be a lot more expensive. Like it used to require some kind of process. I think it required a process previously. I'm guessing. That's all. I'm guessing. And now, thank you. Give me that. And now it's pretty cheap. But then I do have a feeling that some of this stuff is a little bit laggy. I'm not sure that extra utilities is fully functioning the way they would expect right now. Let's take this off here. Okay, so we put the retrieval node on the side there. Okay, the retrieval node will basically pull from attached inventories anything that it can. Right, so it pulls it instead. So it pulls it into there and then pops it into the drawer. Right. So what we want to do is filter it so it only pulls sugarcane. So it will search all of the other connected inventories for sugarcane and put it into this place. Now, the final place for that retrieval node may be actually on one of the machines, like the input for one of the machines. So the machine can pull directly from the sugarcane farms into its own fermentation processing. The seeds can be pulled into the squeezer directly from the farm output, directly into the squeezers by using retrieval nodes. I don't need an in-between, but at the minute I'm putting an in-between because, well, it just makes sense to see how many I've got in the system and how fast it's producing. So I'd like to see that. I'm going to have to put some void upgrades on because I've chunk loaded it. I'm going to need to void off anything that keeps coming. Also, we discussed about the power, the RF power. As you can see, this has got 10 tiles that it's equivalent to, which is 5 on each row, 10 tiles, which is awesome. And this one, 10 tiles, which saves a lot of wiring issues that I was going to have because I've put the wireless technology instead. So, while I'm making an immersive engineering diesel farm, I've actually made this out of actually additions and extra utilities to give me the actual farm to start off with. The farm that's going to kickstart the next farm. Because, well, I don't think immersive engineering have a farming system. They have a mining system, but they don't have a farming system. So I'm going to have to do it like this. And this will then lead into the next stage, and so on. And we shall have lots of fun with it. It should be awesome. I've stacked it all the way up here, but I don't know if the next stage will get stacked all the way up here or not. I don't think it needs to be stacked all the way up here. And I may reappropriate some of the space if necessary in a later date. I might you never know, I might need cactus or something different. So I might change things around a little bit later on. But for now, that's a good amount of materials being produced, ready for me to make it all into diesel power. I think the next stage is a lot of crafting to make all of the light engineering blocks and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to need to do a lot of that. Immersive engineering. There's lots and lots of light engineering blocks and heavy engineering blocks and all sorts of things, which fairly in-depth crafting. Loads of iron and copper for the light engineering blocks, and for the heavy ones we've got steel, pistons and steel mechanical components and all that kind of stuff. Making all that up, plus there's things like I don't know if it's iron sheet metal, which means I need to do some iron plates. The iron plates I should just be able to smash with a hammer though. So I should be able to smash with a hammer rather than needing rolling machines and all that kind of stuff. Should be able to just knock it with a hammer. And all that kind of good stuff needs doing to make all the pieces I need to make a couple of machines for next episode, and then we'll have a little look at. If you've got any ideas down below in the comments about how we can most efficiently use our farms there, our fermenting and squeezing, what's the most efficient combo? Is it like one fermenter and one squeezer per one diesel generator? Or is it 2 or 3 fermenters and one squeezer per generator? That kind of stuff. If you know the details, let me know in the comments down below. But until then, thank you all very, very much for watching today's episode of the FTOG Quantus server series. This series is still going on. I've noticed a lot of you have dropped off the viewing. Obviously not you guys that are still here at the end, but it has been dropped off the viewing, so I would appreciate it if you did a little bit extra for me and clicked a like or a share, just to encourage other people to come and have a look today. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next Quantus on the FTOG server. Goodbye.